Hey guys, Coach Dan here. What is discipline? So this is something I've been thinking about lately is, what is discipline? And what I have come to realize is that there is this interrelationship between discipline and habits that can't be broken. So I used to think discipline, of more recent times, discipline's not a thing. Discipline is just a word, or self-discipline, should I say, is just a word that people throw out. But I do now see or have a better understanding of what I think discipline is. And I think if we had to define discipline or self-discipline, it would be the act of doing things that you don't want to do for some sort of outcome when no one's watching. Something along those lines, right? Doing something you don't want to do, basically. Now, the irony in that is that I've been talking about habits for a long period of time with my clients, and I think and I thought that disciplines and habits were kind of like the same thing. But here's where I potentially see the difference, is that there is a relationship between the two that can't be broken. Now, when you first start trying to do something like going to the gym or eat healthier or something like that, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes, I don't want to do that, but I know I'm doing it for a greater good. And then we've got habits. Now, as we do this thing that requires discipline more and more, it starts to become more of a habit requiring less discipline. So it kind of changes hands and it's got this kind of interrelationship. So it takes a lot of discipline at the beginning because you have to work hard to do this particular thing because you don't want to and it's uncomfortable or whatever it might be. But then as you do it more and more, it becomes a habit, requires less discipline. Now, the feedback from that is that this act of being self-disciplined or whatever it might be also becomes a habit. So if I do this enough, then when it's time to do the next thing that requires self-discipline in my life, I'm in the habit of being self-disciplined. And then that thing becomes a habit as well. So let's give an example. So it's like I want to go to the gym more regularly. I want to go to the gym 3 days per week, let's say, as an example. At the beginning, requires a lot of discipline. As I do it more and more and set times and put that time aside and everything becomes better, I see progress, it becomes more and more of a habit. And then eventually it's very, very habitual. I do it automatically. I don't think about it. It requires really little discipline. But then I have built that discipline or the habit of being disciplined so I can take that to other areas. So now I want to eat healthier. Food prep, that takes a lot of discipline now, but I have been in the act of being disciplined surrounding the gym. So now I've got the habit of doing that. And again, now we apply it specifically to the situation. It costs a lot of discipline at the beginning or self-discipline, and then we food prep more and more, it becomes more and more habitual, and then then it becomes purely habit. But I'm still building the habit of being disciplined in all areas. So that's my take on discipline at the moment. If you were to ask me a couple months ago, I just thought, discipline and habits are the same thing. But I think there is a interrelationship, the feedback that happens through both and whatnot. So that's food for thought for today, self-discipline. Now onto the specifics, the good stuff. Chest workout. We got the push workout. We're getting these boys going. We're getting these boys going. We're getting these boys going for today. So chest, shoulders, triceps. This is my second push workout of the week. I'll go out and show you the specific exercise here in a sec, but it should be a good one. Just get out there, let the body do the talking. We're in a really sweet spot. Just keep progressing. As I say each time, we just keep showing up and the progression comes, and stay disciplined. Or if you're in the habit of doing it, stay in your habits. All right, let's go. On the topic of discipline, so what's currently requiring a lot of discipline for me is getting the camera out each day and filming workouts. So lifting the weights, that's habitual for me. But filming all of my lifting of the weights and talking to the camera and stuff, that's taking a little bit more discipline. So as time goes on, keep doing it, and it becomes a habit, requires less discipline, and I can, essentially build that self-discipline muscle. So other things that I need to apply discipline to, hopefully I'll have that habit of being disciplined, apply that to that, make that a habit, and so on and so forth. So cost discipline, becomes a habit, costs less discipline, and so on and so forth. All right, so push workout for the TIG old biddies. Cambered bar bench press with this dint in it. So again, this is for an increased range of motion, big stretch through the chest. So I've got it on a low incline, working towards the top part of the chest. Control, feel the chest stretch, drive with the chest. Oh yeah. So allowing that larger stretch through the chest, potential to cause more muscle growth. That's why I use this bar. Not all gyms will have this bar. So you could do dumbbells. Dumbbells kind of get you a larger range of motion. You could use a chest press with like a yoga block behind the back to get that big stretch. Flies. No, not exactly the same, but yeah. Good one. I've got 3 sets on here. We'll build to the working weight for today and then we'll get into it. So that's the Cambered bar bench press. You can see from that sort of curve or that camber in the bar that it allows that extra range of motion on your chest, getting that big massive stretch, more than if I had the standard bar. Nothing wrong with the standard bar if you don't have this bar. It's just a variation I'm working on at the moment in this program. Feels really good. I'm getting some action already. So I do 3 sets on that. First 2 sets, a bit heavier, 5 to 10. Last set, drop the weight down, do 10 to 15. Something that I am mindful of is sort of, I've kind of got an ongoing shoulder issue from playing sport. And if I do too many heavy sets or too much heavy work, pressing particularly, kind of flares up. So I just have to be really mindful of that. So nothing wrong with the 5 to 10 rep range if you like that. Nothing wrong with 10 to 15 if you like that. And even above and sometimes slightly below is cool as well for muscle growth. If your goal strength, obviously, probably part of your work has to be working toward that lower rep range at least part of the time. So, all right, let's go on. Chest press. I've got some changes I want to make to the pin-loaded chest press from last week. Okay, next seated chest press. So going from doing something on the incline, potentially with the arm coming up towards the collarbone and working the upper pec or the clavicular pec, sometimes known as. Now we're going something that's horizontal, so now I'm bringing my arm directly across my body. So coming in towards the sternum, and again the idea is that that one works towards more the upper pec, this one kind of everything, but yeah, if anything through the center. So we're getting a combination of the two. Again, that may not be a factor, but both these exercises feel good to me, so even if that's not a massive deal, may as well tick that box. I've got the yoga block behind my back for increased range of motion. So a bigger stretch through the chest because this one doesn't get me a massive one. Something that I found from reviewing the footage from last week is that my hands were a little bit narrow. And what that kind of had me do was almost like pressing like that. So instead I want to get them a little bit wider. So my wrist and arm is stacked above my elbow, just like when we're doing a standard bench press. So a little bit wider with my position. Push out, control, big stretch, push out. We'll see what that change in technique does to my performance here in a second. I'll go to the same weight from last week, see if I can't fight for a couple extra reps. So with the bench press variation, 5 to 10, now I'm bumping this up to 10 to 15 again, just ticking through those different rep ranges just to make sure I'm covering all the bases. Maybe there is some merit to doing some heavy stuff, some medium stuff, and even some lighter stuff. So tick it all off. This one feels good in that 10 to 15 range particularly, so that's good. But that's it, yeah. So the goal for any male obviously is to get your pecs to the stage where you can just kind of like set a bottle on here. So we'll get that shelf in your titty. That's the kind of goal here for this one. So when we're there, we will retire. Okay, 2 sets coming up. All right, next we have a dip to deficit push-up superset, and I also do it with the feet elevated. So the dip is sort of intended, I was doing those push-ups for a period of time, and I got quite good at them, doing up towards 30 reps at that deficit, and I was just trying to make that more intense. So I'm using a strategy at the moment, pre-fatiguing before I go over there. So I use a dip. Now the dip, really good for the probably like the lower part of the pec, tricep, shoulder, all going to be working here. So I smash them all, and I will do the same on that as well. So essentially I'll do a set here, close to fatigue, take a couple of seconds, jump down here, do a set close to fatigue. So I've gotten to a stage here where I'm doing these weighted as well, so that's cool. So I'll weight them, nice hard set, jump down there, nice hard set. So as a practice round, so for my dip, I want to make it chesty as much as possible. So I'll lean forward into it, make it chesty. Couple reps for practice, so then I'll simply drop down here and then do my set. So it'll be 2 sets of this superset. This will probably be about 10 to 15. Who knows? Whatever I've left in the tank, I put into the push-up. So go from here straight to here, pre-fatigue the chest, get down here. Maybe I'll get 10 to 20 reps on here. All right, I'll get everything set up, and then we're into it. Okay, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. So my SD card ran out of memory, so I'll give a quick recap here on how the workout went. Not gonna lie, it was pretty brutal. So just feeling really fatigued towards the back end of that workout. Still performing okay, but yeah, fatigue really smashing me, so I'm not sure how much longer I've got before I'll need a break. So I'll add a card of last week's workout here so you can see exactly what I did. I only made one change and I can go through that one next week, but essentially I finished off with some behind the back cable lateral raises, and again you can see last week's video for that. We went some skull crusher with the cable machine, pretty nice. The push down variation, that's a good one. Like that, I've had to fuck around. The note that I wrote here for that one was, for fuck's sakes, this might be good. So more fuckery from me, but I'll show you that next week. And then, yeah, some lying upright rows, but that's all in last week's video. So if you want to check those out, go have a look there. Now, remember from the start of the video, we've got to practice discipline or self-discipline before things become habits. So we practice discipline when it comes to things that we don't really want to do at the beginning, and then it becomes a habit. So it kind of comes and goes in waves. So maybe at the beginning it takes this much discipline and you haven't got a habit yet, but as time goes on and you get more and more reps in, it kind of flips around and the thing becomes a habit. But again, then discipline becomes a habit as well. So next time you're faced with a situation that requires that self-discipline, you can apply it because you've already been applying it. Then that new situation becomes a habit and you can use discipline in other areas. So that's kind of a realization that I've had and I've been promoting to my clients this week, is that, yeah, discipline takes time, just like habits. We have to, again, start off small, build it over time. Once the habit is formed, then we can use that discipline in other areas. So that's my thoughts for today. Now, always remember, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.